At 80, I realized something about life that changed everything. Reaching the age of 80 brings profound shifts in how we see the world, how we understand our relationships, and how we make sense of the time we have left. Life moves faster than it did when we were younger. Days feel like they blend together, and before you know it, the years have passed. But with age comes something priceless: clarity, a deeper understanding of life that can only be gained through lived experience, through challenges faced and overcome, through moments of loss and renewal. At 80, I've come to realize something that has changed the way I approach every day. Life isn't about accumulating things or chasing after the next big moment. It's about understanding the essence of what truly matters and letting go of what doesn't. In this video, I want to share the life lessons I've learned that have transformed the way I live, the way I think about relationships, and the way I view time itself. From appreciating the fleeting nature of time to understanding how relationships evolve, and even how I've learned to embrace solitude as a source of peace rather than loneliness. These are the truths that have shaped my life in my later years. If any of this resonates with you, or challenges the way you've been thinking about your own life, I invite you to stay with me and consider how these insights might shape your own journey. Let's dive in. 1. Time becomes the most precious thing you have. At 80, there's one thing that becomes glaringly clear. Time is finite. It feels like every year speeds up, and before you know it, the seasons have changed and the world has turned a few more times. When we're young, we often take time for granted. We waste it on trivialities, on things that don't matter, and we often don't even realize we're doing it. But as we age, that time feels more precious than gold. This shift isn't born from fear, but from wisdom. Time becomes a treasure, not because we have less of it, but because we begin to truly see its value. I've found that every single moment matters, whether it's having a quiet cup of tea, enjoying a peaceful walk through the park, or sharing a meaningful conversation with someone I care about. The simple things become more meaningful, and the chaos of life starts to feel like noise that can be turned down or, at times, completely shut out. I no longer take part in activities that drain my energy or engage in conversations that don't feed my soul. It's not selfish, it's practical. As we grow older, we owe it to ourselves to choose wisely where we spend our time. I ask myself, does this bring me peace? Does it bring me joy? If the answer is no, I let it go. Time spent on things that don't matter is time stolen from the things that do. And so, I've simplified my life. I don't feel the need to attend every event or meet every obligation. Instead, I focus on the relationships and experiences that fill me with contentment. I've learned that time isn't about how much you have left. It's about what you do with the time you have. 2. Relationships evolve, and so do we. At 80, I've come to understand that not every relationship is meant to last forever. This realization, though painful at first, has brought me peace. Throughout my life, I've invested so much time and energy into relationships, friendships, family connections, romantic entanglements, believing that it was necessary to give all of myself to maintain those bonds. I thought I had to always be available, to always show up, to never let anyone down. But over time, I've learned that not all relationships are equal. Some people bring light into your life, while others bring darkness. Some relationships nurture you and allow you to grow, while others drain you, leaving you feeling hollow. And that's okay. There have been moments when I've distanced myself from family members, from friends, and from acquaintances. Sometimes, it's not because there's animosity or anger. It's because life has changed and we've grown apart. I've learned to accept this. It's part of the natural ebb and flow of life. People change. I've changed. And sometimes, letting go of a relationship is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. As I've gotten older, I realized that true relationships aren't about constant effort or sacrifice. They're about balance. It's about reciprocity. Do they give as much as they take? Do they respect your time and energy? Or do they take it for granted? In my 80 years, I've learned that mutual respect and understanding are the foundation of lasting connections. The relationships that remain in my life now are the ones that bring me joy. The ones where both people appreciate each other and give as much as they take. If you're finding yourself reconsidering relationships in your own life, I want you to know that it's okay to let go. It's okay to step back from people who no longer serve your growth or well-being. It doesn't mean they were bad people. It just means your paths no longer align. 3. Trust becomes a precious commodity. At 80, I've learned that trust is one of the most fragile, yet most valuable things we can give to others. When we're younger, we tend to trust easily. We believe in the goodness of people and assume that everyone has good intentions. But as we grow older, we begin to see the complexities of trust. We realize that not everyone is worthy of our trust, and that trust is something that must be earned over time. Trust, once broken, is not easily rebuilt. It takes years to establish a bond of trust, but it can be shattered in an instant. And once it's broken, the scars remain, sometimes for a lifetime. I've been hurt by people I trusted. Family members, friends, colleagues. They've all let me down in different ways. And while this has been painful, it has also taught me a valuable lesson. Trust isn't given lightly. As I've gotten older, I've become more cautious in who I trust. I no longer give my heart away to just anyone. I've learned to listen to my instincts, to trust my gut when something doesn't feel right. And even though this means being more guarded, I've come to understand that protecting my peace and my heart is not only necessary, it's vital. That said, trust is still possible. I've met people who have surprised me with their kindness, their loyalty, and their respect. But trust is different now. It's given slowly over time, and only to those who show consistency and integrity. Trust is a balance, a dance between giving and receiving, between vulnerability and protection. For the world has changed, and so have we. At 80, I can't help but notice how much the world has changed. The speed of life has only increased. Technology, while incredible, has made everything feel faster, more disconnected. I grew up in a time when life was simpler. Relationships were face-to-face. Neighbors were friends, not just people who happened to live next door. Families gathered regularly, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Now, it feels like everyone is busy. Everyone is rushing. We're all trying to keep up with the demands of modern life. And in the process, we've lost something precious: connection. The connections that once felt genuine are now strained. Even family time is often a struggle, squeezed in between work, responsibilities, and endless to-do lists. I don't resist progress or the conveniences that technology has brought, but I do value simplicity. I long for the days when conversations were deep, when people truly listened to one another, when time spent together felt natural and meaningful. Now, I find myself stepping away from the chaos. I choose to slow down, to focus on what really matters: meaningful relationships, heartfelt conversations, and quiet moments that remind me of life's simple joys. 5. Solitude becomes a source of strength. At 80, I've learned the difference between solitude and loneliness. Loneliness is an ache, a feeling of emptiness. Solitude, on the other hand, is a choice. It's a space for peace, for reflection, for renewal. And it's not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Solitude has become one of my greatest sources of strength. It allows me to reflect on my life, to find clarity in moments of stillness, to appreciate the small joys that often get overlooked in the hustle and bustle of life. It's in solitude that I've found peace with my past, and it's where I've come to appreciate the person I've become. Spending time alone doesn't mean I've withdrawn from the world. Quite the opposite. Solitude has helped me appreciate my relationships more deeply. It's allowed me to be present with the people I love, to savor our time together, and to connect in ways that are far more meaningful than before. If you fear solitude, I encourage you to reconsider. Solitude is not loneliness. It's an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to find peace, and to rediscover what truly matters. 6. Why I avoid people now. Avoiding people isn't about bitterness or resentment. It's about protecting my peace. Over the years, I've learned that not every relationship is worth maintaining, and not every social obligation deserves my time or energy. This realization didn't come easily, but it's one of the most important lessons I've learned. For much of my life, I believed I had to always be available. I thought I had to meet every social expectation, to show up for every event, to never say no. But now I know it's okay to say no. It's okay to prioritize yourself. I've learned that peace is found in boundaries, and that not every invitation is one that I need to accept. I choose to surround myself with people who uplift me, who bring joy into my life, and who respect my time. I avoid people who drain me, who bring negativity, or who simply don't add anything valuable to my life. As you grow older, I hope you'll learn this lesson too. It's okay to choose who you spend time with. Your peace is precious, and it's something worth protecting. 7. Embrace the present moment. Finally, at 80, I've come to understand that life is best lived in the present moment. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. All we truly have is this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this second in time. I've stopped worrying about what's to come. I've stopped lamenting what could have been. Instead, I focus on now. I savor the moments of today, and I make the most of the time I have. I take joy in the small things. The feel of the sun on my face, the sound of birds in the trees, the laughter of children playing. I find beauty in the simple things. If there's one piece of advice I could give to my younger self, it's this. Don't wait for some grand moment to start living. Don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect circumstances. The best time to live is now. The best time to be present is today. So, I encourage you to embrace the present, live in the now, and make the most of every moment, because that's all we really have. Final thoughts. In my 80 years, I've learned that life isn't about accumulating wealth or achievements. It's not about living according to someone else's expectations. It's about finding peace, cherishing the people who truly matter, and making the most of the time you have left. If there's one thing I hope you take from this video, it's that life is a journey of discovery, of learning, and of letting go. As you move forward in your own life, I encourage you to cherish the moments, to nurture the relationships that truly matter, and to never forget that your time is the most precious thing you have.